Try it again. Science has a lot of terms, and all that new vocabulary is to help describe complicated ideas. But we definitely need to learn that new vocabulary. So this video's goal is to help you prepare for a Google quiz on the terms. These quizzes are low-key, open note quizzes. I really want you to do well, and if you screenshot the list of terms or replay the video or play the video while you're doing the list of terms, that's fine. You're allowed to take the quiz more than once, up to 3 times. I don't just want you to click through the quiz. I want you to read the words. That way when you read them in the chapter, they won't be brand new anymore, and you'll understand what the book is trying to say more. So here we go. First up, life science. The study of living things, also known as biology. The fancy word biology, and the prefix bi means life, and ology means study. So there's plenty of ologies. Geology, geo means earth, and ology means study of. What's another one? Physiology, physio means the body. Again, the study of. Tautology, the study of Tods, whatever. The scientific method. We're going to learn it. It's a series of steps that scientists use to answer questions and solve problems. The steps don't necessarily always go in the same order. It depends on what type of science you're doing, and sometimes you need to repeat steps. So it's not a one and done kind of thing. Science is more flexible than that. Hypothesis, a possible explanation or answer to a question. So a hypothesis is better than just a guess, but it's also something we don't know the answer to yet. A good hypothesis can turn into a prediction that we can test, but it doesn't have to be testable. So I could have a hypothesis of what would happen if I took Jupiter and slammed it into Saturn, but that's really hard to test since I can't actually do that. Variable. In an experiment, a variable is a factor that changes or varies. V-A-R-Y, to vary means to change. So variable is the part of the experiment that changes, which is the opposite of the control. The control is the part of the experiment that has no change or doesn't change. Controlled experiment, an experiment that tests only one factor at a time. If you're testing lots of different things at once, you don't know which thing gave you your result. So if I was testing, for instance, in the Dreaming Makes Perfect, how a nap helps improve performance on a video game, if I was also feeding the participants different snacks and had them in warm and hot and cold rooms, then I wouldn't know if it was the snacks or the nap or the different temperatures in the room that helped them do better. And so controlled experiments try to keep everything the same except for that one variable, that one part that changes. Theory, this is a big one, a unifying explanation for a broad range of hypotheses and observations that have been supported by experimentation. So theory, in regular speak, kind of means a guess, like a hypothesis. But theory in science is a big T, capital truth. It's as close as we get to the truth, where a lot of our different ideas that had their own experiments to prove them all match up under one theory. So the theory of gravity is a pretty strong theory, and good theories haven't had to change in a long time. New experiments still fit the old theory, and we don't need to change them. However, if a theory can be proven wrong, scientists need to move on and change. There used to be a theory that diseases in life could arise de novo. And what that means is that life could come out of nothing. And they thought this was true because you could have a loaf of bread there and the next day it was moldy. Or you could have, a bottle of cider and the next day it turned to vinegar and was full of other things. And what they couldn't see was the microscopic things happening. And what they've since discovered is life doesn't spring up magically. All life seems to come from pre-existing life. So theory, a big capital T truth in science. Technology, the application of knowledge, tools, and materials to solve problems and accomplish tasks. So technology can be objects as well. So if you use a pencil to write down an answer, that is technically technology. It doesn't just have to be fancy things with batteries and flat screens. So technology is anything we can use to solve a problem. Compound light microscopes we'll get to in chapter 2. It's a microscope with tubes and lenses, the type you're used to seeing, that allows us to zoom in on bacteria. It only allows us to zoom in about 1,000 times closer tops. Electron microscopes are crazy cool and crazy expensive. If you've got $1 million to drop on one of these, you can see things 1,000,000 times closer. Tiny, tiny microscopic organisms. Now, you do need to be able to spray liquid gold on them and a lot of other weird things, and usually you don't get to work with one of these until college or graduate school. So we won't be playing with an electron microscope, but we will sometimes look at images taken with an electron microscope. Now, there is a bonus word that I've hinted at while reading these definitions. So when you take your terms quiz, here are the terms. If you want to screenshot that to save it for later while you take your quiz, that's a great idea. I'll wait. Okay, hopefully you've had a screenshot of that. So for the quiz is in Google Classroom, and it's a Google form. This quiz is set up so that you can take it more than once. If you take it more than 3 times, I'm not looking at any further tries. So if you are careful and you use this picture or you listen to this video, the quiz should be pretty easy. It's worth 9 points. You can get 10 if you get all the words and the bonus word. So good luck, and take your time and be careful.